Hey everybody, welcome back to PODMAS Ep.4 of Built Like This podcast. I'm your host Maxine, and thank you so much for tuning in. Now, I want to start off with Jonathan Majors. I know we talked about him in a previous episode. Oh, that's my dryer. My bad. I'm like, who's at the door? It is too late. Anyway, Jonathan Majors is there's a lot of more information coming out about this ongoing case of his. And in my opinion, he's looking better, right? In comparison to her and the allegation that she had given out about him regarding physical assault. And come to find out, according to the latest audio and video release, we see that she is the aggressor and she is the one clearly unhinged. I want to get into this conversation about him preferring white women over black women and how Megan Good is not looking good in this light because if you don't know, it seems as though clearly, according to the photos, unless it's all a psyop, but if we want to base it off the photos that we see of them recently, they are together and they're holding hands. It seems as if they are a couple. Now, I don't think Megan Good is looking foolish at all. I actually agree with their relationship. They look good together. I mean, call me what you want. But I feel like it's so silly and immature to immediately paint it as, oh, she's looking like a clown for sticking by this man during this time. When instead, we should look at it as a woman sticking by her man who is clearly not in the wrong in this case, especially considering the evidence that we are seeing come out time after time recently of this case. We see that he is not the one being the aggressor. He is not the aggressive one here. He is clearly he is clearly going through a case with an ex-girlfriend who was unwell and unstable, and this is a common experience that a lot of men, black men, whomever, deal with certain women, and it just so happens that she's white. Now, I remember an old, I don't know if it was an expose, but just like a get to know you type of video that was had on Jonathan Majors earlier on in his career or when he was popping off. Y'all remember him from Lovecraft Country, which is an amazing show from a few years ago, not too long ago. And I think it was on HBO, I want to say, one of those prime streaming networks. And the quality of that show is so good because of the acting from many of the actors on the show. It wasn't just like one or two strong actors. Literally everyone on that show, including Jonathan Majors and Journey, his sister, Janae Smollett. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. For being phenomenal actors. Like they are so impressive. It's like, yeah, let me go ahead and go to Juilliard. But anyway, the show was so amazing. But I remember watching a little get to know you video of Jonathan Majors during that time. And I think he did mention something about his girlfriend, and it was shown during that time that he was dating a white woman. Now, I don't know if it was the same white woman from this case. I don't remember. I don't think it was. But I bring that up to say that, okay, sure, you can make the argument that maybe he preferred white women, or maybe look, for those who know me, I have been a hater of interracial relationships, particularly black men with white women. Now, am I pro that relationship? I mean, not necessarily, but I don't feel this visceral reaction as I once did. I don't feel that anymore. And that is really me coming to the mindset of let people just fall in love with whoever they want to fall in love with. Like, I don't think it has to be a situation where, you know, he's selling out, he doesn't love his mom, he hates himself. Like, I don't think it always has to be a circumstance like that. I really don't. And I think it's just so easy and so surface level for us to get to that point in our argument when we see a black man with a white woman. It's actually more often that maybe he just like who he like and it just was an organic slip in that white pussy. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, he's perfect. Like, it doesn't always have to be that way. And I'm also saying this in the reality and recognition of there are plenty of black men who have dated white women and other non-black women purposely in spite of black women. So that does happen. I'm not negating that, but I also want us to make space for the black men who don't date black women in spite of black women, or who just haven't dated black women in spite of black women. I don't think it's always, this like negative concept. Anyway, so this argument of Megan Good, her being a black woman dating Jonathan Majors, and her being seemingly the first black woman in the public eye, at least, who Jonathan Majors is dating. There was some suspicion of, is this relationship real? Is she looking stupid because now he's trying to gain favor from black women and support, especially during this time? And considering the timing of us knowing them being together, it was prior to the evidence being revealed to us that Jonathan Majors is not the aggressor in this case. So clearly a lot of people were looking at Megan Good as just boo boo the fool. Like, why would she date someone who is known for allegedly assaulting his former ex-girlfriend? But now come to find out that he did not assault her. Actually, he was literally getting away from her. And I'm going to go ahead and play a video that proves what I'm saying in case you are not familiar, because this case is wild. Like, it keeps getting better, but there's so much to it. Let's start off with, I'm going to go ahead and play a quick video of him literally running away from her. And she's having a hard time letting him go. Now, according to the video, another video of, I'm going to play that too, but there's a previous video of her speaking and you hear an accent. So she is not from, I mean, she could be from America, but the point is, like, she has an ethnic background that may not be like from Kansas, right? So she sounds like she's from England, somewhere in the UK. But let me go ahead and play this quick video and I'll describe what's going on for my audio listeners. Shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for listening. And I am going to go ahead and play this right now. So let's start from the beginning. So this is a TMZ clip that I am playing right now. In this clip, we see, I think it's an Escalade, one of those type of cars. And both Jonathan Majors and the woman, Grace Jabari, they run out of the car. He's literally pushing her off. She's not, like, he's trying to push her back. And yes, I'm using the word push on purpose here because it's clear that it's an aggressive way to get her off of him. Like, he's literally trying to get her off of him. He's trying to make her stay in the car. She's not doing so. And you see him literally moving her aside or pushing her aside and literally running away. Like, literally running away from her. Like, it's a scene from a movie. You would think that he's not Jonathan Majors. Like, sir, do you know who you are? Like, did you not think that this will, I don't know. It's just so funny to me. Like, you're not just like some Joe Schmo from the corner. You're this world known actor who is getting so much fame in recent years. You would think that he would not participate in such behavior in public. Now, granted, the streets of New York at this time is pretty vacant. I don't know what time of day this is. It's clearly nighttime. So it's probably early in the morning, like at 2, maybe 1 a.m. But yeah, you see him clearly running away from her and she's chasing after him. So I bring that video up to make a point that there is something wrong with this woman. There's something wrong with someone who is not getting the clue, getting the hint to back off, to just take a chill pill, go home, stay in that car, and be driven home. Who knows what happened? Well, we do know what happened. What happened that night, according to what has been revealed, she was apparently trying to read, or she apparently caught him texting other women or another woman, and the alleged rumor is the other woman was Megan Good, hence why they are now together in the public eye, at least. So who knows if that's true? I mean, it's good timing, right? But the point is, you have this example of a woman, of a white woman, just to make that point, who is clearly unhinged, who's not doing well. And I actually want to go ahead and play this next clip here of Jonathan Majors speaking to his ex, Grace Jabari. And I'm going to set this up by describing what led to this conversation. So let me just pause that real quick. So it's clear that she came home from a drunken night and she is trying to apologize for her behavior. I don't know what manner she came home in as far as being drunk. Like, is she a loud drunk? Is she aggressive? I mean, I would say she is, based off of what we know so far of her character. But let's go ahead and watch this audio clip and understand why this is a woman you want to stay clear from. Okay. Oh, child. Let's go ahead and watch this real quick. Shout out to TMZ.com.
Right now. Period. This is actually, period. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you really though, baby? Do you really?
Yes.
Then how dare you come?
Not babe at the end of him chastising her, not babe.
Come home drunk and disturb the peace of our house when we have a plan. I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is gonna be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't. So, like,
No. Do you understand that? Because that team.
Y'all hear her accent, and she's clearly crying. She's sounding unwell. She's emotionally unstable, and just, yeah. Let's go ahead.
That unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama. Barack Obama.
And for him to say, do you know who that is? So that's why I make the point that she probably isn't from America. Maybe she didn't grow up with American history, or maybe, her being white, maybe she just didn't know Black facts. But I would think everyone knows who Coretta Scott King is, just being that she is the wife of Martin Luther King Jr., right? So interesting. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
sorry. Let me just lay it out for you, right? If I'm just gonna say this. My temper.
Let me go back real quick because he does mention how she should emulate Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. I want to make sure you guys hear that also.
Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just lay it out for you, right? If I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? I'm not saying I'm a great man, a great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately. Last night, 2 nights ago, you did not do that. You did not do that.
I'm sorry.
Which took away from the plan. And the plan is everything.
Nigga, what's the plan? Sorry. I know I sounded initially that I was on Team Jonathan Majors. I mean, I gotta crack a joke here because who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? The plan. Are we gonna take over the world? Majors, are we gonna take over the world? What's going on?
If it was just you in the house drunk, maybe I could have swallowed it. Or I would have felt bold enough like, oh, babe, let's just go to bed. Which I said, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not hungry, blah, blah, blah. Because Grace isn't here. Why? She was drunk. Why else? She was clogged by whatever was going on. You know what I mean? Fine. I can take that. Fine.
So there we have it. Yet another example of her looking unwell. I mean, at this point, but I mean, look, the context here from what we could tell from that video, from that audio, is she came home or they had something at their house, it seems like, and she wasn't behaving herself in a manner that's respectable. So she was belligerently drunk, doing God knows what at their household and not looking becoming of a lady that should be in his arms or by his side. Look, I think there's an argument that could be made though about how you should behave when you're with your partner, when you're with your man as a woman. Being just falling over the floor drunk may not be a good look, right? You don't want to look embarrassed. You don't want to embarrass him. I get that. I get all of that. I just wonder when he said, now granted, something about his anger, how he doesn't have control over his anger, probably. I can kind of see that. It seems like, just based off of that audio, that their relationship is one where, because you hear that she is trying to apologize and I'm so sorry. Like, she sounds like a child. Like, he is chastising his child. And I think he actually has a kid by a white woman who I don't believe she's the mother. But I bring all that up to say, like, you see that he has history and maybe he does have a specific preference for white women. I don't know, maybe it just happened naturally. Who knows if it's in spite of Black women or if it was just a circumstantial thing. I'm really trying to shoot him bail because I really admire his work. I loved him ever since Lovecraft Country. Like, ever since I discovered him on there, it's been Team Jonathan Majors for me. So, but I can't lie and deny how his behavior is not perfect here. I'm sure he has his faults, but I think ultimately it seems, like I said before, like a relationship that is both sided in their toxicity. They seem to be just is unmatched, or the dynamic is probably unleveled. And maybe with his relationship with Megan Good, there is a better dynamic. But I just don't, I just think I want us to move away from the lazy argument of well, Megan's looking foolish for being with this black man after he has a history of only being with white women. That's just like childish to me. Like, come on, can we grow up with that silly ass observation? Okay, let's move forward because I'm tired of this topic. Okay, so Kenya Moore hair care. Shout out to Kenya Moore. I really want to give her a shout out because it's been like 4 years of her trying to get a divorce from this man, Mark Daly. They've been trying to get a divorce longer than they've been married, which is pretty much a shame. Just like how Bethany Frankel was, her situation. I think Bethany Frankel was much longer actually. But what's interesting about Kenya Moore's relationship or that marriage and her time with him, it just never seemed to be a genuine relationship. Like maybe it was something where they hired for pay, like they hired to be together, like there was an arrangement to be together to have a child because she had her first child with him. He has children prior to knowing her. I think he was married before, but when I learned of her pregnancy and her sudden marriage, it was all just so quick. It was like a bam, 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 bam. And unfortunately, Kenya has a poor reputation of being with men for hire. Not some prostitute thing, but like because she's on the show Real Housewives of Atlanta on Bravo, there's this expectation for her to show up with a partner, to be with someone, to have someone to come with on their trips, to show off that, hey, I have a man, I have a man. And I think for so long, because she hasn't had a man, at least publicly, it became this like pathetic presence of hers to yet be so beautiful and so well put together physically. But if you watch the show, you know that she's not well put together, at least for a period of time prior to her maturity. I think she has matured since she's had her baby. But prior to that, internally, she has a nasty ass attitude, and you could see how one could be tired of her. But anyway, she's known for allegedly hiring boyfriends. Like, I think there's an actual agency of men who gets paid to be a play boyfriend for specific occasions or a holiday gathering, something like specific like that, just to keep up the appearance, just to make the woman not feel lonely and left out during these group events and gatherings. So Kenya Moore has a reputation of doing that. So now her marriage with Mark Daly, being that everything was so done quickly and rush undercover. When they got married, they were apparently in a whole different country, so none of that was shown on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it was a slap in the face for us as viewers because we've been tuning into your life for so long, and now you want to keep this away from us. Like, what's going on? So that's what made a lot of people believe and create this conspiracy that maybe her relationship wasn't real at all. Even the marriage certificate, apparently that didn't seem legitimate. Child, there's so much to unpack with that. But anyway, it seems like there was a marriage, and now the marriage is finally finalized in the divorce. So good for her. But I think ultimately she just wanted a baby out of it. And she didn't want to have, I don't think she wanted to have children outside of a marriage context. So regardless of if that marriage continued or, lasted for X amount of years, she wanted a baby out of it, and that's what she got. Because I want to say within months of them getting married, I think actually within that year, I think they got married while she was pregnant. I don't think she was visibly pregnant, but she was still pregnant at the time. And in a few months, of course, she finally gave birth. So I think, yeah, they got married while she was pregnant. She probably was like in the early trimester. Anyway, so good for her. I'm happy that this storyline is finally over. Who knows what will happen in the next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta? I think it needs a revamp. Ever since we've seen, oh wow, one of these franchises can revamp and totally obliterate, whatever that fucking word is, totally renew and recast their current cast. Ever since we've seen that with Real Housewives of New York, a lot of people are saying the same thing should happen to other franchises, especially including Real Housewives of Atlanta, ROA. And I totally agree. I think all of them needs to go. Candy, it's time. Bye. Kenya, it's been time. Who, like, I can't remember who else is on the show. Drew Sidora, okay, but no, you could go to Marlo. It's been a rough seeing you as a full-time housewife, so I'm ready for you to go. Also, who else is on the show? Sanya. Bye. Like, they all really could go. It could be just a fresh new cast. I want all of them to be married, or at least most of them to be married. I know actually a few of them are married on the show currently. Sonia, Candy, but that's it. Like, that I can remember. Everyone else, like Marlo and no, Juicidor is married, but I mean that marriage does not even count. Anyway, it needs to be a whole new cast. At this point, y'all, make sure you are liking this video. Thank you so much in advance for liking this video here on YouTube. And be sure you are leaving a positive review if you are enjoying this content. Leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are listening to this podcast. I completely appreciate it. I totally appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's wrap up with a final topic that I have in mind. And that's Rubi Rose. Okay. Should I say this for next time? Because we're almost to our 30-minute mark. Let's see how much I can say. Okay. What I want to say about this Rubi Rose situation is nothing is as it seems in the world of celebrity. Okay. And what I mean by that is oftentimes when we look at these celebrities and we assume that they're really living this life of luxury, that they're really worth millions or even billions of dollars, and come to find out it's been a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a ruse for us to tune into their content. And by us tuning in, that feeds their ego and that feeds their willingness to continue to be on the red carpet and push out content, whatever it is, right? But Rubi Rose is a rapper. She's a female rapper in America. She is known for her like raunchy lyrics, hood lyrics, like hood rat type of aesthetic. And she has an OnlyFans. So OnlyFans is where she posts content there. I don't know what type of content she puts exactly. Like, with OnlyFans, it's not only nude content or pornographic content in particular. It's people could lie and say, oh, well, it's just my feet. Not lie, but like you could be led into thinking you're going to see nude content, but it's just someone's feet that they're showing on their OnlyFans, or it's just someone cooking in a bikini in their kitchen on OnlyFans, right? So it could be whatever you want it to be for a subscription. So she has an OnlyFans, and she has allegedly, I'm saying allegedly because, like I said, nothing is real or as it seems. She has a lot of supporters on her OnlyFans. So I'm assuming that her content is of the pornographic side. Pornographic, the YouTube algorithm. But at this point, hopefully they didn't catch me. They didn't catch me slipping. But there was this picture of her with her top spender who spent $62,000 on her, just like, I think all at once or whatever it is. But come to find out, that was a lie. That was a lie. According to his interview with Adam 22 on the podcast No Jumper, excuse me, guys, I'm sorry for the, all that. I want to do better with that. Apparently he was hired to take a picture with her and to be a part of this hoax. That's what he calls it, a hoax. And he said that it was all a hoax planned by her team, and it was something that they thought would be a good idea to garner more attention. He got paid like $15,000 to go along with it, but he didn't know the details of the hoax. He didn't know that he would have been painted out to look like this creep. The text message exchange that we see of her talking to him allegedly was made up. Now actually there's a photo of him tattooing. So I'm gonna read this real quick. Once the story was out there, he claimed that he actually suggested getting a tattoo of Rose's face on his body, and he requested between $15,000 to $20,000 as part of this hoax. In relation to the image of the $62,000 transferred to Rose, the accomplice, asserts that someone's account, just not his, apparently. I'm confused. He claims that prior to the initial photo, he had no strong feelings towards Rubi Rose one way or the other, and that he was not even a follower of her OnlyFans. And he says he didn't purchase any of her OnlyFans content. So what are we talking about? Just a few days ago, it was shown to us in the news, in the media, that he was this big time spender for her content. He was the top spender, giving her $62,000. And he met up with her, or quote unquote stalked her, and got a picture with her. But come to find out, it was all a hoax. For what reason? Now, this tattoo that's allegedly on him, who knows if it's a real tattoo or if he did agree to getting it. He said that he suggested it, but he suggested it for a fee. So I'm assuming that he got the money that he requested in order to get this tattoo of her face on his body. Either way, I bring this up to say all the world is a stage. Y'all, a lot of the things that we see online, we just have to fact check it or wait a couple of days before we come up with our opinion. But sorry, my nose. That's really just an interesting excuse me. An interesting revelation here. Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for listening, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.